Hi everyone. So I'm going to be showing you a little more of an extended look at the new report generator from the Milestone demo. So the new report generator is a template-based standalone designer and creator. The license option allows you to create reports that provide information about your machine, tooling, operations, etc. in various formats you can see here, such as PDF, XLS, HTML, or using the standalone viewer. With the report generator comes 5 default templates, a detailed and summary for the operations and tool list, as well as an EDM specific operation template. In addition to creating reports, the report generator also includes an end user report template designer in which you can customize the templates or create new one to meet your needs. So now let's take a look at an example of editing templates and creating a report. So first things first, as you can see here, we have a mold file that we're going to be creating a report for. So I'm going to show you a quick option here underneath the File Options menu and Machining. So here you have a Save Intermediate Stock option. So I have it currently set to all, so what this will do is save the process stock for all operations in the file instead of waiting for it to calculate for, in this example, to run reports to get the in-process images. So you can see here you have a little save disk that shows you that all those operation stocks have been saved. Now the report generator functions can be found under File, Publish. So you'll notice that there are 2 report generator functions, one to create reports from an existing template and one to create or edit an existing template. So the create one is going to have, again, those list of standard report templates that come installed, as well as those output types that I mentioned before. So first I'm going to edit the existing report template, then create a report from that new customized template. So you do have the option to create a template from scratch if perhaps you want to create something that's a little bit more specialized and doesn't really go with any of the current templates available. So in this case, I'm going to pick the operation list detailed and OK. So this is going to boot up the report designer, which will again allow you to customize the template to meet your specific needs. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and save this out as a different file name so I don't override the original template. So under the Report Designer tab, I'm going to go to Save As. And I'll save this as Operation List Detailed EX. So now I'm just going to take a quick look at the actual layout of the Report Designer so you know where everything is. So one key area on the left-hand side is the Toolbox. So here you'll see all the available controls that can be added to the template. You can drag the controls into the template, or you can select the control and draw it in the location and size that you want inside the template as well. So here you can see you have labels, tables, charts, barcodes. A lot of things are available here on this toolbox section. On the ribbon, you have a tab called Print Preview. So this will allow you to view the resulting report using the open ESPRIT file in the current template state. Here you can assess whether the template changes are good or if any areas need to be edited further. You can also choose to export the existing preview you see here into any of those options like before, XLS, PDF, if it actually looks like your finished report. If more changes need to be made, you can just go back over to the Report Designer tab and continue your edits. On the right-hand side, you'll find the Report Explorer and a field list. The Report Explorer reflects the structure of the report template in a tree-like form and includes advanced report styles and formatting that can be applied to the report controls, which we'll take take a look at in a little bit. The field list contains the available dynamic information that can be grabbed from ESPRIT files. So under the parent item, ESPRIT data, you'll find a list of categories, and within those, the available data associated with that category. So for example, tools, you'll see some standard items such as coolant and diameter. At the bottom right is the property grid, which allows you to change several settings of the selected items in the template, including color, borders, size, etc. And at the bottom, you have this option for grouping and sorting. So I can show you an example of that using the tool list. You could, for example, have your tools come out in the order of largest diameter to smallest by tool number. So this allows you just to control exactly how you're viewing the items when it's coming out in the print preview, the tools, operations, etc. So within the template itself, you'll find a variety of bands. So the report designer uses these bands to organize and manage how the report controls within the bands are handled. So for example, information like here inside the report header will appear only on the first page of the report, whereas information under the detailed bands in the template will appear for each bound operation. You can find more detailed descriptions on the bands in the report generator script. So now we'll go to actually making some edits for the template. So a common one that you might be making will be to change the logo to your company logo. So I'm going to first select the logo in the template. Then at the top right hand corner, click on this little arrow and then the ellipsis next to image. And I'm going to browse the location of my company logo. Automatically updates the size due to the sizing option within the picture box task. Now you can also make this change in the property grid. A lot of things can be edited in the property grid. Now if I want to adjust the background and font color of, let's say here, the tool change lines, instead of having to individually group and change those colors or font types in the property grid, under the Report Explorer, you have a Style section which allows you to make mass changes to save time. So a single style can be applied to multiple controls, so that instead of having to select the control manually, like I said before, and changing it, you can simply update the style within here, and it'll update any of the controls that are associated with that style. So in the Report Explorer, I'm going to look for the tool change header style. And in the property grid, I'm just going to make some adjustments to the background color to control dark, and the foreground color for the font to black. So you should see it automatically update within the template to show this style change. Now if you select any control, you can adjust the style it's associated to within the property grid. Now if you don't want a particular control to always output a single style or to always be visible, for example, you can change the appearance based on a set of conditions. So for example here, if I want the operation cycle time to change to red, if it sees a cycle time over 5 minutes, I can do that using the formatting rules. So to add a formatting rule, I'm going to right click on it and choose Add Formatting. You want to change the name to something that you can actually identify easily, so I'm just going to call this red cycle time. For the data member, this will be associated to the operations, so I'm going to change it to operations. And I'm going to click next to condition on the ellipsis button and open up the editor. From the list on the left hand side, I'm going to go to fields, which is showing me the same field list that I have here at the upper right hand corner. So I'm going to look for machine op cycle time and double click to add. And I want this item to change to red if it's over 5 minutes or 300 seconds. So I'm going to put greater than 300 and OK. So now I need to choose the formatting I want it to do when it sees that the cycle time is over 300 seconds. So I'm just going to change the foreground color to red. And I'm just going to associate this one machine op cycle time cell to this formatting rule so it applies every time it's run. So I'm going to click on the ellipsis next to formatting rule in the property grid, select red cycle time and move that to the right. And OK. So now just a quick print preview. You should see anytime the cycle time is above 5 minutes, it's going to change that color from black to red. So now another thing you might do is add information to these tables. So to do that, just like Excel, I'm going to right click on this cell, insert row below. In this case, I'm going to add feed length. To add an actual data item, so in other words, have something that's changing every time it sees a new operation, I'm going to double click in this cell, click the arrow at the top right, data binding, and from the operations category, I'm going to look for part-op length of feed. And you'll know that it's using an actual field list item because you'll see that little cylinder appear in the top right corner. Just general text is not going to have that. So now I'm just going to double click on the cells next to it and delete the contents. Note you can also change the text within the property grid under data and text. Now I'm just going to do a quick adjustment to this picture box size so that it matches the table. And last thing I'm going to do for this template is change an existing data item that's already being used in this top table here. So for example, for the date, instead of date last saved, I'm going to double click on this cell, click the arrow, and here I can also change the data binding, so the item that is being used. So I'm going to change that to date created. And the last thing I'm going to change here is going to be to add a barcode at the top of the template. So first things first, I'm going to adjust this machining report label to be a little bit smaller. Doesn't need to extend all the way to the logo. From the toolbox, I'm going to look for barcode, click and hold it to drag it into the template, and resize this. Now to change the barcode itself, I'm going to click on it and click the little arrow at the top right again. You have various options for the type of barcode you're trying to create as well as the module. I'm just going to use auto module, so it's automatically going to size the barcode to the size of my actual control. Down here you're going to input the text for your barcode, so I'm just going to type in some random numbers here. If I click anywhere else in this barcode task, you should automatically see the barcode adjust in the template. And you have the option to show the text at the bottom or just simply show the barcode itself. So now I'm just going to save this template and close. So one last thing I want to do for this template is to edit the configuration. So under Edit Report Template, I'm going to choose my new template and click Edit Configuration. So this just allows you to input some extra information that isn't available in the report designer to more customize your created report. So one thing you can do is input a suffix at the end of your created report. So I'm just going to change this to, let's say, op detailed EX. For the trailing digits, I'll change both to 3. And at the bottom here you can choose if you want to output these images. In this case I'm going to check all of them. And I'm going to adjust these sizes to match the size I have set in the template. And if you wish, you can also control how the image is shown if you want it rotated or flipped. So I'm going to hit OK to take those changes. And I'm just going to close this window since I don't need to boot up the report designer anymore. Now I'm going to create the report using that new report template. And here you have your report. Now just a quick note before we wrap up here. Just going to boot up the tool list summary. Show you a couple more options that you can use if you would like to. So in addition on the Report Explorer and the field list to having styles and formatting rules, you can also add parameters. What these will do is when you go to the preview or use the standalone viewer, you can actually prompt the user for a certain set of parameters to control how their actual report is output. So for example, to show only tools that are being in use. So it's only going to show me the used tools and not just all tools that are in the ESPRIT file. And you can also create grouping in here. So this would be an example of when you might want to add a group. So you can add it for your tools, perhaps sort it by tool number. So up to you how much you want to adjust the template, how much you want to include in it, but there are a lot of options to make it exactly what you want.